Hello everyone, welcome to our webinar. My name is Andrew Townsend. I'm with eLearning Brothers. Today's session is going to be about how to make amazing e-learning with our newest Captivate course starters. These are new items added to our template library. This session will be recorded. We'll get a copy of it sent out to everyone who's registered for this session, and we'll also be posting it on our blog later in the week. If you have questions during the session, we'll be ready to answer your questions in the questions panel, so do use that. It's a part of the GoToWebinar interface, so you can send your questions in and we'll get to as many of those as we can throughout the webinar. All right, so to talk to us about these Captivate course starters, we have Andrew Vass, one of our developers, with us today. Thanks for your time, Andrew, and I'll go ahead and turn the time over to you.
Awesome. Thanks, Andrew. Hey, everyone. Welcome. Thanks for joining us today. Again, like Andrew mentioned, I'm going to be talking about the brand new Captivate course starters that we just uploaded to our library. These are the same course starters you've seen in Storyline, and now we have them available in Captivate. So moving along, today I'm just going to start by showing you what exactly is new, which course starters we have uploaded to the library. And then I'll download one, open it in Captivate, and show you exactly what's included in there. And then afterwards, we'll jump into how to edit those. All right, let me jump out of my presentation here and bring this over. All right, so if I come here, and if you're in the eLearning Brothers library and you navigate over here to the Captivate asset library, you'll see our course starters just right on the top there. And just last month, we released 4 brand new course starters. We have our Cobalt course starter, our Flat Blue, our Jet Black, and our New Stone as well. And then we have a few that are coming soon that will be uploaded again in the next month. Now, what course starters are these are updated versions of our style templates. If you've been following the library in the past, you've noticed that we've been uploading several different templates that were styled exactly the same, and those were called our styles. And what we've done with these course starters is we've actually taken the most popular templates from these styles and made some updates to them and combined them into one Captivate file. So no longer the need to browse the library, download a bunch of different templates, and then combine them into one file. We've already done all that work for you, which makes it a lot easier to get started there. Come back in here, just like all our other templates, if I click on one of the course starters, you'll be presented with a video preview that'll show you how the course starters work, which templates are included in those, and just will give you an idea of exactly what you'll be getting when you download one of the course starters. And then similar to our other templates, we'll have font files and then graphic source files available for download. A few of our template files, actually the majority of them do use custom fonts. That's why they look so awesome. They don't just use system fonts. And if that's ever the case, we include those as a download option for you. And then the graphic source files, these are editable files and icons and images. We try to, with all of our templates, create as many of the objects as possible directly within the tool, but sometimes in order to get that look that we really want, we need to create something in Adobe Illustrator. However, we give those files to you if you need to edit, if you would like to edit them yourself. You would need Adobe Illustrator to edit any of those graphic source files, but again, they're there for you. Now, going back to the font files, if you are browsing any of our templates, especially our course starters, if you do see this font files zip file here, you will want to download that first. Because if you just download the template file and open it in the tool and you haven't downloaded the fonts, those aren't going to show up properly. So if I download this, I actually already downloaded that, so I'll just open that up for you here. The font files will show up. It'll be a zip file. You'll just have to unzip that file, and then in here will be all of the fonts that are used. You'll just want to come in here, find them, and then it's a little different on a Windows and on a Mac. I'm using a Windows here. All you need to do is select all those fonts, just right-click and click Install, and then they'll be installed on your computer. I already have those, so I won't need to install any of those.
Quick question for fonts. Does the learner have to have the fonts installed,
No, so, and I'll show you that as well. We have some JavaScript in each of these, in each of our templates, especially Captivate, since Captivate does not embed fonts automatically. There's some script in there that will actually pull in those fonts for the learner. So you don't have to worry about that. Okay, all right, so once you download the font files, then you are good to download the template file and open it up in Captivate. And a quick note, all of these course starters that we've just recently uploaded were built using Captivate 2019. So they will not work in any older versions of Captivate 2017 or earlier. Now that question's probably going to come up, so just keep that in mind. All right, so I downloaded those fonts, I installed those fonts, downloaded the course starter, and I'm just going to open that right up in Captivate. And right when this file opens, the first thing you're going to see is some color-coded slides over here to the left in the film strip. This is what's called the film strip. And these colors denote the different categories of templates of slides that have been added to this course starter. So for this particular one, this pink, you can see these are going to be click to reveals. The purple border is going to be drag and drop. For our green, we have a few scenarios. And then a lot of yellow slides here. These are just basic static content slides. Quite a few of those. And then we also have orange for the quiz slides, and these are actually built-in Captivate quiz slides here. And then we have a few one-offs. There's a knowledge check interaction in here as well. And then if I scroll up here, there is also a timeline interaction. Those are just color-coded to help you know exactly which is which. Now the first thing before you get started editing these course starters, and actually best practice when you're developing anything, you want to save a new version of this file so you don't lose any of the interactions here as you're deleting and or adding and editing your content. So you're going to come up here, File, Save As, choose a new name, and then save that. I won't save that because if you're used to Captivate, saving can kind of take a while. But just make sure you do that, and then that way, as you're adding, removing slides, you won't have to go back in and download that from the library if you want to replace any of the slides that you deleted. Once you save that, then you can go through and view all of these slides and add or delete any slides that you would need. Pretty easy just to remove those slides right there. There's a couple options here. If you find slides in here or interactions in here that you don't want, you can either delete them, which is what I'm doing now. It's taken a while to think, or you can just right click and select hide slide. And what that will do is that will actually hide the slide from the output, but it'll still show up here in the film strip. That's up to you, whatever you want to do. Another option is if you have a course that you're already working on and you want to bring these slides into the existing course, that's really, really easy. All you have to do is copy and paste. So let me show you, for example, let's open up a new responsive project. And one thing I didn't mention is that these course starters, the ones that we just uploaded last month, they're built in Captivate 2019, but they also all utilize fluid boxes. So they are fully responsive. All the work has been done for you. I won't get into too much editing fluid boxes today, just because that can get kind of complicated. However, we do have, I think, if any of you were on our ELBX online webinars a couple months ago, there was an entire webinar all about using fluid boxes in Captivate. So if you have any questions, jump onto our website and check that one out, and that should be able to answer them for you. All right, so I created this new responsive project, and copying and pasting all of these is really, really easy. I'm just going to just right click copy, and then I can come over here and paste that in there, and that will bring over all of the design elements, all the colors, the styles, the advanced actions, everything you need. And you won't have to worry about that merging with your existing design elements. So for example, if you're creating a course in Captivate, you spend a lot of time in it, you have maybe your company theme that you've added to your course, copying these slides over from the course starters actually won't break the theme, because for these interaction slides, we actually don't utilize any master slides. Everything is created directly within the stage. And if you've worked in Captivate a lot, you know, copying and pasting master slides and different film strip slides can kind of get a little messy. So we just decided to eliminate all of that and build everything directly on the stage, so you don't have to worry about those master slides for these interactions. Any questions about just getting started that have come up?
None about getting started.
Okay.
Looks like you're cruising along pretty nice.
All right. So once you've decided which slides you want to use, editing them is really, really easy. And what's nice about these, kind of what I mentioned before, is whenever possible, we use built-in Captivate objects to create these course starters. That includes text boxes or captions, like they're called in Captivate, shapes, draggable items, clickable items, all advanced actions. Whenever possible, we build those directly within Captivate. And also, like I mentioned, if you ever find something in here, for example, if I come to this objective slide, this icon right here, this is actually an image that we imported just to get that exact look. The source files for this will be included in the download files, so you can actually open that file in Illustrator, make some changes, and then re-import it into Captivate. So it does take a little bit of knowledge about Adobe Illustrator, like I mentioned. However, it is possible for you to completely edit everything that you'll see in this course starter, which is nice. And taking that even further, not only do we use built-in Captivate objects, but we also heavily utilize Captivate's object styles. And this has been my favorite feature of Captivate ever since I started developing. Utilizing the object styles make it really, really easy to make global changes throughout your entire project. So for example, let's say I have, we'll come over here, we'll say I have this title right here, but I want to change maybe the font, or I want to change the color of this. If I select that and then come over here, I can see that this is a style called title caption style. And if I come to this next slide, the title of this next slide looks exactly the same. And if I come over here, it's also utilizing that title caption style name. So if I want to make changes to this throughout my whole course, all I have to do is come over here to the properties window. We'll just change the color for now, make that orange. And then once I change any of the properties here, that's going to add a plus sign to the style right there, which means that the style was broken. Now all I have to do is click this drop down here and select Save Changes to Existing Style. And then Captivate will think for a minute. And now I can see that that plus sign went away, which means I've saved the style. And now anywhere in my course that uses that exact same object, or uses an object with that style, will also be updated to match. So that will work for text boxes, and it will also work for shapes as well. So for example, this is a tabbed click to reveal interaction with 5 different buttons here. If I come over here, I can see that the style has its own unique style, so I can edit that. Any buttons can be edited by navigating to the states view. I want to make some changes there. I'll open that up again, where we're going to go with orange, change that fill, change that stroke, and then I'll come over to the rollover state, and then we'll change the color of that text. I have full control over there. And then come back up here. Again, select Save Changes to Existing Styles from this drop down. And then it'll think. Sometimes it takes a while, especially with these course starters, since there's so many slides in there. It'll go through and apply that to every single shape or every single button that is using that exact same style. Close this. It's changed all the buttons right here. And then there are a couple other slides that use that same style, and it's also changed those. So keep that in mind. If you want to make a lot of global edits for either color edits or maybe text alignments, or fonts are also part of that, you would want to do that utilizing the object styles. It'll save a lot of time. All right, so once you change the styles there, then it's really, really easy to edit the content. And you'll notice that any slide in our in these course starters that requires more than just text changes to get the slide to work. There will be some instruction text over to the left of the stage telling you exactly what you need to do. So this one says copy and paste the desired slides into your course if you're importing them to an existing course, and tells you to modify the button states. Just click that button and go to the states view. I already showed you how to do that. And then to modify the header text, the content text, or the image, just click the object and go to the states view. So exactly the same thing. For this one, if I want to change the header text here, select that, again, open the states view, and I can see header text for all 5 of those tabs that are in this interaction. So let's, for example, start putting some content in here. I have a storyboard open in my other window just from one of our customizable courseware, our negotiation skills course, and I'll just copy some of this content over. Just double click in there and then paste. And if you're pasting into Captivate for the first time, you'll get a message here if you're pasting from a storyboard or from a different program that will ask you if you want to copy the text over with formatting. You'll always want to make sure you click no if you ever see that message, because if you click yes, then it's going to bring that formatting over. Clicking no will make sure that it inherits the format from your style so it doesn't break the template. So we're going to be creating a click to reveal interaction about the piece model, again from our negotiation skills course. I'll just do a couple ones here. Just a simple copy and paste, and I think I want to change this. That yellow doesn't really match my orange. So again, on any of these states, I can come over, change some of the properties there. I'll change that to white. And then in this drop down, select Save Changes. And that will update all my states here. Do you have a question?
Is there a way to make that default to no?
For the copying over the formatting?
Right.
Yeah, so that when that box first pops up, there will be a checkbox that says do this for, or don't ask me again. Just click that and then it'll automatically do it for you. And then you can also, there are ways in Captivate to reset the preferences if you ever make some mistakes and accidentally clicking yes and then saying don't ask me again. There are ways that you can go back from that.
Fantastic.
There will be a checkbox there. All right, so I'll just do a few of those. That was for the title, and this will be editing content like this using the states will apply to every single slide in the course starter. So I'll just show this one slide, but this will be how you would edit the everything within the course starter. Same thing for this content. Go over here to the states view, and I'll just copy one of these paragraphs over here. If it'll let me, if I just didn't freeze everything. Come over here and then paste that in. I would do that for all of my tabs. Each interaction, all of these states might say something different. It'll correspond to the slide you're on. But again, this workflow should work for every single slide in the course starter. And then also the same thing goes for changing any of the images. A lot of these click to reveal interactions will have either character images or just stock images in there. Very, very easy to change those out. I'll show you how to do both of those. This particular one is a character image, and this is actually a cropped character image. And for this one, you want to make sure, kind of, especially if you're a beginner developer, the instinct for when you're editing something is if you see an image you don't like, you'll just delete it and then add in the image that you want. However, especially with these course starters and for interactions, you definitely don't want to do that because that's actually going to break the, it will not only break the states because each of these images also use the states feature in Captivate as well, but it will also break the advanced actions. All of these interactions, our drag and drops, our click to reveals, the scenarios are all using built-in Captivate variables and advanced actions. So deleting any object off the stage is going to cause that to break. So you want to make sure you don't do that. You just replace the image. And what's nice about your Captivate purchase or your Captivate subscription is that it comes with the eLearning asset library. So I come up here, if I want to change this character image out, I came up here, I'll show you that again. select assets right here, and then navigate to get free e-learning assets. If it's your first time logging into Captivate, you might see a login screen there. You should have that login information when you purchase Captivate. And then I can come over here to characters and then browse the thousands of different characters that are available in the Captivate Asset Library. Select one, and then browse the one I want. There's a bunch of options here. And then download. I always like to download the largest image just to be sure you get the best quality there. And then close window. Every time you download an image from the free e-learning assets, that's going to pop into the My Assets window right here, which will then allow you to add that to your allow you to add that to your project. Now, in order to get this character image replaced, and this is actually just a good tip to know if you're ever working with the Captivate library, no matter if you're using one of these course starters or not, is that when you download an e-learning asset from here, that actually doesn't add it to your Captivate library, so you aren't able to replace that character image on the stage. First, you have to add that to your project. So here, I want to add the close-up version of this character. Actually, let's go to the one I just downloaded. In Captivate, you have options to add the full character, a half character, or a close-up character. Make sure you always select high resolution images right there, and then click OK. And what that does is that not only adds that new character to the stage, but also adds it to your library. So if I right-click her and select Find in the library, you now see that I have the cropped version of her available for me to use anywhere in my course now. I don't have to constantly keep adding her into there. So I'm going to do is delete her from the stage right here, and then select this character. And I want to make sure that I maintain the aspect ratio for this character. And if you're familiar with fluid boxes, you'll know that sometimes replacing images can distort the aspect ratio quite a bit. So my first step is going to be unlock this image from the fluid box. And then I can come up to the state view, similar to editing the content, and I'll see all the different versions of this character. This is specific to this particular interaction. If I want to change him out to the character I just downloaded, I'll come over here I'll select him, come over here to the properties window, and just select right here, and then I can select her from the list. These will be all the images that are added to my Captivate library. The newest ones will always be at the bottom, so I'll save you some time. You don't always have to go searching through there. Select her, click OK, and then also make sure she's a little bit larger, so make sure she kind of resizes there. I'd want to do that for all of the states of that character, and then I'll exit out of here. Once I have all of those, I've done that for all of the states. And then I can uncheck Unlock from Fluid Box, and then drag her into the Fluid Box right there. And I have Maintain Aspect Ratio selected, so she won't get distorted. She'll maintain that aspect ratio. And that's really all you have to do to edit at least this particular interaction, but that's the same conventions for every single interaction slide in these course starters. If I preview this, preview these next 5 slides here, I can show you how that looks and how that update will look on the final published output. Select play. All these course starters are built using the built-in Captivate navigation as well, and I'll show you how you can make some changes to that. But now I have her there, and I have the content that I copied and pasted into my states. I didn't change that character, but if I had, then she would show up there as well. Any questions coming through on how to edit any content or any images?
One question did come on here. If you are using an existing presentation, something that you've already built, already developed, and you like this course starter, is there a way to convert the starter slides to the theme that you're using in an existing presentation, just to update it? Because like I mentioned, that we don't use the
don't use any master slides. We just build everything directly on the stage. Unfortunately, though, having these course starters match a theme of an existing project, it's possible using the object styles. However, just applying that theme to the slides would not override it. We've found out that a lot of people who download our just our templates in general, the majority of them actually download because they love the design. They love how they look. So usually they want to keep that design more importantly than trying to change it to an existing theme. But it is possible, like I mentioned, using the object styles and applying those to everything in applying those to the whole course. Hopefully that answers your question.
One other question here, coming back to the fonts. So your learners, your participants don't need to have the fonts installed, but there is a question about web fonts. Are we going to have problems if let's say we can't get the web fonts because they're behind a firewall or we're locked down that way?
You won't have any issues. What this will do, Captivate will just default to a system font, so those objects aren't going to completely be deleted from your project. It'll just default to a system font. You may have some small issues for example, if the system font is maybe a little bit larger than our custom font, some things might get a little bit cut off. However, with fluid boxes, they actually fix that problem, because if there's ever too much text, there will be a button that will allow you to expand that. Or using the object styles, you can just come in here we'll come down to this one. If you have just a system font that's that you use for all of your courses that you develop, you can just replace one of these with, we can just change this to an Arial. I'll show you this again, and then save the changes to the existing style, and then it'll update for you. So there's some easy ways around that there.
Fantastic. One other question here. Let's say that we're seeing a style that we like here in a webinar. Let's say it's Cobalt. Mm-hmm. How do we find that in the asset library? Can you just run us through navigating that asset library for a moment?
Yep, absolutely. So it's actually really, really easy. If you just come over here to the asset library dropdown, and I'm on library.elearningbrothers.com. Is this the eLearning Brothers asset library or the Captivate asset library? They're actually two different things.
Through Captivate.
Through Captivate, okay. I'll come in here, and these actually, it used to be that the eLearning Brothers asset library would have the exact same templates as the Captivate asset library, but now currently there are some templates that will only be uploaded to the Captivate asset library, and some that will only be uploaded to the eLearning Brothers template library. So this particular Cobalt, these course starters actually are not added to the Captivate asset library. In order to get these, you would have to have a subscription to the eLearning Brothers asset library. However, we do have a lot of templates that are available in here. So for example, we have our flat blue style in here, and we do have a course starter available in the eLearning Brothers template library, but it is a little bit of an updated version, and again, they're combined from those flat blue style templates. So in order to use those, you would have to download them all individually in the Captivate asset library and then copy and paste them all into one project. So they are different. I think that does cause a little bit of confusion for some people, but just keep that in mind as you're navigating both, that there will be differences. Okay, all right, and as far as editing these course starters, that's really all it. It does not take a super advanced knowledge of Captivate to get these working for you. One more thing I did want to show you is changing out images is a little bit different than changing out the characters. So let me just come here, and this is just an image layout. If I click this image and I come over here, I can see that this is actually just a shape in Captivate that is utilizing an image fill. If I open this, if I wanted to change this image, I would just come over here to the properties window, select this fill, select this manila folder, and then again, I can either browse all the images that are in the library, or I can import one from my import one that I've downloaded, maybe from a stock asset library. I'll just select this one here. And what's nice about using an image fill instead of just adding an image to the stage, just importing an image, is that you can actually make sure that it maintains the exact same size and the same aspect ratio, because you're actually able to mask the edges of an image if you're using a Captivate image fill. That's why we use that. We'll utilize that for all of the images in these course starters. We actually just earlier this week uploaded a blog kind of that goes into a little more detail about why eLearning Brothers uses that particular image fill for images in Captivate. So go check that out if you have any other questions. Besides the image, other than the image fill and editing the content, the only other thing that's a little bit different are these quiz slides. So all of our course starters will have 5 different quiz slides. We have a matching multiple choice, a select all, multiple select, just the regular matching, multiple choice, and a true false. And these are built using the Captivate, actually the default Captivate quiz slides. So if you're familiar with Captivate and know how to edit those quizzes, it's really, really easy editing the content here, the questions. You just double click in there and type over here. Once you are actually on a quiz slide, you'll get this quiz panel over here on the right. You can edit a lot of those quiz properties right there. You don't have to worry about editing any sort of advanced actions or any variables to get these up and running. You just input your values and select the correct answer, and you'll be good to go. You can also add or delete quiz slides that you don't want and make duplicates of quiz slides that you do want. If you just wanted a quiz with all true-false questions, you can just delete all the rest of the questions and then multiply this true-false question as many times as you would need. And then the Captivate logic on the results slide, which is also a built-in Captivate results slide, will automatically update for you. And another thing that's nice about these Captivate course starters is that they're all XAPI enabled. Again, I won't get super into the logic of that, but in our ELBX online webinars, Bill, one of our developers, went into how we do XAPI for our Captivate templates. But once you're done editing all of these, you have the option, once you're ready to share this and throw this up on your LMS, you do have the option to publish for XAPI. If I select this, I can change them to either XAPI, AICC, SCORM 1.2 or SCORM 2004, depending on what your LMS standard is. So you should not have any trouble getting these the files from these course starters to work in any LMS. We've made that really, really easy for you, and that will apply to all of the Captivate course starters that we've recently uploaded, and also all of the Captivate templates going forward. Any last questions about publishing or any of the publish outputs here?
There aren't any questions about publishing. There's a couple questions about the difference between the eLearning Brothers library and what's available in Captivate. The best way to get that answered is to just give us a call. We'd be happy to chat with you about those. It's kind of, I mean, how would you explain, Andrew? I mean, we've just been, the template library at eLearning Brothers is constantly growing, and the one in Captivate isn't really growing anymore.
Yep. No, not growing anymore. And everything that you get in this Captivate asset library is free. It comes with your subscription to Captivate, and all the brand new stuff that we're uploading for Captivate, these course starters, anything new for Captivate 2019 will be separate in the eLearning Brothers asset library. So you want to look into getting access to those, again, just by calling in and talking to one of our account representatives.
So no other questions coming in at this time.
Cool.
That's everything everybody wanted to know about.
All right. Well, that is actually it for me. Let me open up this final slide here. And I'll kick it back over to you.
Excellent. Thank you, Andrew. So what you see here on the screen is ELBX Live. That is coming up quickly. We are in the low 20s, I think, for a number of days until ELBX Live. It's coming up June 10th, 2019 here in Salt Lake City. You can join us there up at the University of Utah on the campus. It's going to be great. I see a couple of you are saying you're going. That's going to be great. Come and talk to us. Andrew's going to be there. I'll be there. But you know, I'm not cool. There's going to be lots of other developers that will be there cool too, like Misty Harding. We're going to have Dr. Marty Rosenheck. We've got some amazing speakers coming to speak to you as well. We've got Chris Willis, a lot of our developers that are behind customizable courseware, the developers that are behind these Captivate course starters. They're all going to be there. So you can register for that at elearningbrothers.com. If you'd like to try some of these course starters, you can also go to elearningbrothers.com and click on free trial in the top right-hand corner if you don't already have access to the library. And you can try one or two of these course starters, see if they work for you, see what you think. Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Andrew, for this awesome webinar, and we'll see everybody later. Bye-bye.